Good morning. I am super excited to be here with you all today. And I decided, this came to me this morning, that I wanted to come and share with you all every morning around 8:15, Monday through Friday, insights from my learnings. I'm constantly reading. And I thought it'd be great to share with you what I'm learning from what I'm reading. So maybe you don't have to read as much as I do, or you can read, and I'll share the books that I'm sharing my insights from, and then use that insight that I share to guide you through setting your intention for the day. So leading from, what you're learning and how you can apply it. So, because intention is super important. So one of the insights that came to me recently that I wanted to share, and then I'll lead you through how to set an intention for the day around it. And I'll be sharing a different insight every day because I already have lots of lots of them. I'm always taking notes on what I'm reading. So this insight came from, being in the online world as a business owner, as a coach. There's this constant pressure when you see other people having huge successes or having big sales months. There's not only the pressure to want to keep up, but there's also a lot of negative comparison. So we disconnect from our own path and valuing what our own path looks like and our own progress. Hey there. And based on what we see. So we're responding to someone else's maybe having a great sales month or whatever. And instead of being excited, sometimes we beat ourselves up because maybe we're not there yet. And so we have that negative comparison. And then that negative comparison, of course, impacts, how we feel about our business, how we feel about our progress, how we feel about ourselves a lot of times. And of course, that energy is going to impact the decisions that we make, the actions that we take, and everything, and impacts the rest of the day, whatever point in time during the day you see that. So what I wanted to share, and this is what came to me, is when we notice those feelings, and really they're feelings of jealousy, is to pay attention that at the root of jealousy, there is a little bit of bitterness and resentment, right? So resenting that you're not as far along as they are. And this is the key point that we'll use to make our intention for the day is you can't attract what you resent. So let's say you see someone who had an amazing sales month, and there's that part of you that's like, gosh, why haven't I had that big sales month yet? And so there's this jealousy and envy around wanting to have what they have, but then it's tinged with negativity because you don't have it. And so there's a little bit of resentment, perhaps it might not be conscious towards them, like how come they're doing so well, but more it's resentment against yourself. Why aren't you doing as well as they are? Why aren't you progressing as fast as they are? And so while you might have a similar goal, perhaps, or similar desire to be advancing in your business, the fact that you have this negativity around their success and you're not being where they are, you are resenting what it is that you desire. So for example, maybe it's a $50,000 month. While you might desire that, and maybe you've been working towards it, and you see someone else who's had it, and maybe, it's like, oh, I did it in 2 months out of the gate or something from starting my business or whatever. So that bitterness and resentment, like, how can they do that so fast? And why is it taking me so long? You're attaching resentment towards what it is that you desire. And so what happens then is that you're repelling your ability to attract that $50,000 a month into your life because you're attaching resentment to that desire, and you can't attract what you resent. And so what I want to guide you through is, and then setting an intention for the day, is to pay attention to those little things that come up. And it could be, envy or jealousy around other things, and it doesn't have to just be around business, but I'm focusing specifically on business, is pay attention when you see those things and notice that negative comparison. And then this is I would say the best way for this to work is to let yourself feel it and like really intensify the emotion so that you let the emotion go through you, because you want to remove all that, negative energy around what it is that you desire so that you can bring back that pure, place of love and positive attention towards what it is you desire, so that you can start to really alchemize the negative energy around having a $50,000 month and bring love and joy and excitement and positive expectation to it. And so the idea here is notice it, of course, first. Notice a negative comparison. Notice the, negative feelings, whatever that might be, just feeling, not necessarily negative feelings, but feelings that are undesirable. And then intensify those feelings until you can't even feel them. Like you can't make, like if you're like, oh, I just want to feel even more upset and more angry and more jealous and more frustrated, until you can't even make yourself feel it. Just there's nothing left. And that's when you know you've completely transmuted it. And now you can replace it with what you would prefer to feel around a $50,000 month, like joy and excitement and really making it natural instead of this like super special thing that you did. It's like, of course you earned $50,000 a month. And so when it's natural and not this like super special, hard to do thing, that's the energy of contentment, of satisfaction. And so that's what you want to replace it with. And so the intention that you can play with today is, how can you bring the energy of satisfaction, of, the pleasure of exploration and experimentation and desire for what it is that you are calling in, and let all the things that come up around it, the resistance, the fears, and, any sort of anger, frustration, let those come up, honor them, feel them, intensify them, and then let them go and choose a preferred state of being. And a preferred state of being in a being as that's how you naturally are. You naturally, go on, maybe for me, for example, I naturally go on a walk every morning. And so that's what you want to replace with. What is it that you naturally do? So if you naturally go on a walk every morning, of course you naturally earn and create $50,000 a month. So that's the intention to play with today, is how can you start to replace this feeling of it's outside of you and it's hard and you have to force and you have to hustle and you have to grasp and you have to compete, with a natural feeling of expressing that desire and allowing that to come through you with ease, with the natural energy of who you are. All right, I'll be back tomorrow for another morning intention and insight. Leave your questions and comments. Let me know any ahas, any thoughts you have. And books, I'll share some book recommendations too. One of the many books that I'm currently reading is Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. So I highly, highly recommend it. It's the same idea of letting go of, our ego is attached maybe to $50,000 a month. But when we come back to a place of purpose and of, you would do this no matter what, even if you didn't earn $50,000 a month, you're going to allow that $50,000 a month to come in much more easily. All right, see you all tomorrow.